we understand that how really do we answer question in sales and why is it so important. You see, at the beginning of this session today, I want to establish the context of today's discussion. And the context of today's discussion is that when you answer all the questions of a customer, and let's assume that you're answering them correctly, do you think that the customer goes for a purchase? I repeat, if you successfully answer all the questions of the customer correctly, do you think it will give you a sale? Does it guarantee you a sale? I personally feel it does not. By receiving correct answers to all the questions asked by the customer, he just starts thinking about buying your product, but he doesn't necessarily buy your product. There's another twist to it. When you say giving all the correct answers to the customer, now the context here is that correct according to whom? Because the same question can have an answer which is correct according to the salesperson, could also have an answer which is correct according to the customer, could have an answer which is correct according to a third person who is neither the seller nor the buyer. So there's nothing called correct in this world. The perspective with which the answer is being given will decide correct or wrong. Let us understand in today's discussion that as a seller, when you're trying to answer questions raised by the customer, are you trying to be correct? Are you trying to be clear, concise, and correct? So there is this typical uh, feeling, as you see below on the screen, which says that always give clear, concise, and correct answer. Now, I have an issue there. Clear is fine. You should be clear in your communication. Concise is also fine. You should be concise in your communication. But what is correct? I don't know what is correct because when the customer says that, hey, I find your price very expensive, now he's right because he feels that the price is expensive. But I don't feel that the price is expensive, right? So there is nothing called correct answer. Now, some of us, many of us rather say that let us probe the customer while answering question, right? Now, the question is, why do you want to probe? And what are you trying to achieve by probing the customer while answering questions? Some of us also say that let us use the opportunity to build a sales conversation. Okay. Now, while there are merits on each of these statements made, at this juncture, I would like to first establish the context. If all of you are now convinced that giving correct answer is not the objective of answering a question in sales, rather building a sales conversation is the objective of sales. I mean, objective of answering a question in sales. Now, when you're trying to build a sales conversation, what is required? You have to keep the customer engaged. Now, how do you keep the customer engaged? Because the currency of discussion between the seller and buyer is always in the form of questions and answers. So when the customer raises question to you and you want to keep the customer engaged, you have to answer the question in a way that the customer feels engaged. Now, let me give you an example. Suppose I'm selling real estate. Now, the customer says that Sanjay, I do not like this particular highway where you're showing me land because I don't think that the land on this particular highway will appreciate. Now, the customer raises the question that Sanjay, why do you think that this land will appreciate in value in the next 10 years? Now, this is a question that has come to me, and I could give a very straight answer which says that, sir, according to past statistics and according to government data and some data analytics that I have done, a progression analysis shows that this land will grow by, on an average, 8% every year. So, in the next 10 years, I am looking at a growth of at least 30%. Well, the answer could be correct, but the customer is not engaged. The same answer, I can make it more engaging by trying to ask a few relevant questions to the customer. So when the customer tells me that, Sanjay, why do you think that this piece of land is going to appreciate so much? My answer would be that, sir, what is the kind of appreciation that we are looking at year on year? Okay, he gives me an answer. So apart from appreciation, what are the other things that we are looking in this plot of land that we are going to buy? He gives me an answer. Then, sir, what is the growth or what is the cost of capital that we are looking for when we are investing into this? Because we are going to block our money for the next 10 years' time, right? You see, when you answer a question with some relevant questions, you build a sales conversation, number one. You keep the customer engaged, number two, and you ensure that the discussion is moving in the right direction. Because if you do not do this, you just give the right answer, the discussion doesn't move in the right direction. So, I always feel that in sales, you have to arrive at the truth and do not tell the truth. Now this is a statement which I'm putting up on the banner on the screen. Your answers in against questions which customers raise for you should be such that it helps you in co-creating the truth with the customer. It helps you and the customer together to arrive at the truth rather than telling the truth. So in this example, if I have just said that, sir, this land will grow by 30% at the end of 10 years, and the customer is not impressed. The customer has a lot of further questions. But when I keep on asking smaller questions, get his answers, and then join together his answers and my answers to arrive at a cogent explanation of the question, which is to say, even if I know the truth, I do not tell the truth, I arrive at the truth. And when I arrive at the truth, I am handling the question in the right way. So the question that we had today in today's session was how to answer questions in sales. And what we have understood till now is when you're answering questions in sales, always arrive at the truth, do not tell the truth. To do that, always ask the right questions. Try to answer questions with relevant questions rather than giving right answers, and break down your questions into smaller questions so that the customer finds it very interesting to answer them. Great. Now, having done this, let's go to the advanced part of the sales process where your need analysis is over, where your probing is more or less complete, where you know exactly what the customer wants and how your product could add value to him. And the customer also broadly knows about your product and services. He knows about your company, he knows about you. So basically, the discussion has moved a bit further, and this is the time the questions of the customers changes and our answer also changes. So if the customer says that, okay, Sanjay, I like your product, but tell me what is the best deal that you can give to me, right? Now here the conversation is changing gears. Initially when I started the call, the conversation was that of getting considered. I wanted the buyer to consider my option of buying. Slowly the discussion moves, changes gears, and now I'm sitting in front of the customer on the negotiation table where the customer says that, okay, tell me what kind of deal can you give me. Now even here I need to answer the questions of the customer with a relevant question. And when the customer asks me that, okay, tell me what is the best deal you can give to me, I normally start the discussion by saying that, sir, we can talk about deals, schemes, and offers, but please tell me that do you think that I am the best option for you to buy? Am I your best choice? Because if I'm not your best choice, irrespective of whatever offer I give you, you'll not buy from me. So let us first conclude whether I am your best choice or not. You see, in this session, what I'm trying to show you is how important it is for a salesperson to learn to ask the right questions, even when he is answering the question posed by the customer. The more questions you ask, the better questions you ask, the better qualification questions that you put up will make you a matured salesperson. I'm not asking you to be intrusive in this process, but please understand that it's not about knowing the right answer or giving the right answer. I'm not advocating that you should not know the right answer, but even if you know the right answer, it's not about giving the right answer. It's all about finding the right questions and taking the customer to a point where he wants to buy your product, isn't it? That's all from my side today, friends. Stay connected here because I'm going to come on LinkedIn live sessions on various topic of sales. For those of you who are new to me, get onto my LinkedIn newsletter called Sales Nuggets. And you can also follow me on my YouTube channel, which is Sanjay for Sales, as well as my Instagram channel, Sanjay for Sales. Thank you very much. Love the fact that you have chosen sales as your profession because there is no profession in this world which can give you name, fame, and money faster than sales. Stay connected. Bye bye.